Hey kids, Mr. C back again, here to talk about World War I. Now, we're not going to talk about the entirety of the war, but instead, we're going to talk about what caused the war. That's right, there were not just one, two, three, but four causes that started World War I. So the first thing we're going to talk about is, how did World War I come about? Did it just happen one day? Was it like somebody woke up and was like, I'm going to start a world war? And that's not how it happened. There was a lot of things going on in Europe at this time, and unfortunately for the people of Europe and the rest of the world, they had to suffer because of a few countries' disbeliefs. So we're going to talk about those things. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what acronym we use to talk about the world wars. For most people, that they think about World War and they're like, wow, there's one cause. Nope, like we said, four causes. So what we're going to use is the old saying of Maine. No, not the state. Get out of here. No, we need the letter M-A-I-N, spelling out Maine. Now, each letter stands for an important cause of why World War I actually started. And we're going to talk about each one a little in depth, but obviously I want you to not only take this video to study the causes of World War I, but look in a little more in depth. So the first letter, M. So M stands for what? Money? No. It actually stands for militarism. Militarism meaning what? Yep, as you see right there, tanks, artillery, new weapons and technology that made killing people a lot easier. So instead of the old methods of fighting, as you can see here, we're getting trench warfare, machine guns, we're dropping artillery shells from miles away. It's the first time where advanced technology is used in warfare. Militarism is also something else. Militarism is the gathering up and building up of one's army. And they do it as in terms of if two neighbors were kind of competing, kind of like, hey, you see what our neighbor's got? I want that. He's got a new car, I want a new car, but a better car. But instead of the cars, it's lots of people and guns. It's all going to feed into what the other causes are. But the first thing is militarism. So the second thing is A. What does A stand for? A actually stands for alliances. Now, Mr. C, what does an alliance mean? I know I've heard of it somewhere. Well, alliance is when you have an agreement with another country. And before World War I, a lot of countries had alliances. We can talk about the Triple Alliance. And the Triple Alliance was what we saw with Germany, Italy, and Austria-Hungary. Okay? That was the Triple Alliance. Now, there was another alliance with Great Britain and France and Russia. Okay? They made up another treaty, a treaty that would be used in World War I. Okay? So there's all these alliances. Those ones we just talked about are what we call formal alliances. Formal alliances means that everybody knew about them. They're like, it's kind of like walking with friends in the hallway. People know who your friends are. England was friends with France at this time, and Germany was always paired with Austria-Hungary at this time. Now, what really is the problem are secret alliances. Shh, don't tell anybody. Secret alliances, that's kind of like when you're supposed to be friends with somebody and hate somebody because you're friends with that person. Be like, I don't like that person. Why? My friend's enemies with him. I don't like him. He doesn't like him. That's why. But the whole thing with secret alliances is that they're sticky. Okay? Something might happen in one country and they might declare war on that country. And country A, who is the person who got declared war on, might have an alliance with country C. Therefore, country B is going to war with country A and country C. They didn't want to get into war with country C, but of course they have to because of that stupid secret alliance. So we have M and A. We're going to get to the IN very soon. So what does the I stand for? It's the third part of our four-letter system of the causes of World War I. I is actually imperialism. It's a unit that we've covered extensively, and imperialism is defined as when one nation dominates another colony areas, political, social, and economic spheres. There's complete domination of a mother country to what we call a daughter country, essentially. And unfortunately, that these mother countries start to fight each other. And what they do is they're not fighting for land in Europe, they're fighting for land in Africa, in the Middle East, in Southeast Asia, and South America. Some countries, like Britain and France, had lots of colonial powers, or were colonial powers because they have lots of land. You got to think of England dominating in Africa and France dominating in South America, rather. And places like Germany, who didn't have a lot of land, they want to kind of stick their knife right into Africa and start carving away from France and Britain. They want to start making splashes in Southeast Asia and grab some more land in China. But what happens is that France and England, they're not too keen on that whole giving Germany what they want thing. So there's the third cause of why World War I started. If you could think of this like a powder keg, if you can see right here, a powder keg, you dump all this gunpowder into this powder keg, and eventually it's going to get to a break point where it's going to explode. We're not quite full yet, but that's where the N comes in. And the N stands for nationalism. And nationalism is an interesting term because nationalism is the pride in one's nation. Not so much the pride in a leader, but the pride in our nation. Think of nationalism as America, okay? We believe in America, believe in our nation's beliefs. Not so much a specific president, but then the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion, all those things that were guaranteed in the Constitution. Now, let's reverse this back 100 years ago, well, 100 plus years ago, and we're looking at World War I, the pre-World War I era. Countries have been fighting since the revolutions of 1840 to make a country or a national identity for themselves. Some places like Germany are newly found nations. They would just come out in 1870 and they're looking for a fight. They beat up on the French and now they're just looking to take more people. So with this rise of militarism and the alliances, especially with imperialism, nations like Germany are looking to make a name for themselves. They think that they're better than a lot of people. So unfortunately, there's a lot of nationalism that goes around, and what they try to do is they just try to puff out their chest and smash their hands against their chest, trying to prove how much manlier they are than the other countries. Other countries don't like that. Other countries, like France, who had just been defeated, realize, hey, you know what? I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with Germany getting all cocky. We're going to have to show them who's boss if this comes back to haunt us. So, sure enough, we have our four letters. Remember, militarism, alliances, imperialism, nationalism. So, imagine our powder keg. We filled it up with militarism, we filled it a little more with alliances, then with imperialism, and now we're at the brink with nationalism. What's the spark? What makes this powder keg explode? Well, we're going to go into this little land called Serbia. Serbia is home to a Slavic population, and the Serbs are a very proud people. They had just recently gotten their independence not even 100 years ago from the Austrian Empire, and Austria wasn't ready to let them go. So, Archduke Franz Ferdinand was strolling through the streets of Sarajevo, which is actually in Bosnia, which is nearby Serbia, and Serbian nationalists caught wind of this. Let's pause right there, and let's talk about Serbia a little more. Serbia has an alliance with Mother Russia. That's right. They're Slavic neighbors from the northeast. Now, Russia, people don't know what to feel about Russia. They know that it's big and they have a lot of people, but are they scared of them? Who knows? Sure enough, Serbia has an alliance with Russia. That's a secret. Shh, don't tell anybody. Austria doesn't know. So what does Austria do? Austria and their Archduke Franz Ferdinand are driving through the streets of Sarajevo, waving at the people, when all of a sudden, this Black Hand member, which is a Serbian nationalist party, comes out and bang bang, shoots Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife dead. Obviously, Austria-Hungary, whose heir to the throne, by the way, just got shot to death, they take action by declaring war on Serbia. This is where secret alliances come into play. Because of the secret alliance between Serbia and Russia, Russia now declares war on Austria-Hungary. Could have stopped there. Could have just been those three countries in Eastern Europe. But no. Austria-Hungary has an alliance with who? That's right, Germany. So Germany declares war on Russia. Uh-oh. This is when it gets crazy. Because sure enough, Russia has an alliance with who? Vive la France! France! So France is also declaring war on Germany. Germany then declares war on France. France, yes, that's right, has a secret alliance with Great Britain. Thanks to this secret alliances web in Europe, there's a domino effect that comes, and unfortunately, it brings everybody into this world war. Fighting is going to take place in Europe. It's going to take place in those seas. It's going to take place in Africa and the Middle East. And of course, it's going to draw the U.S. in 1917. This all starts from these four main causes. So remember, when you're talking about World War I, you got to think of the main reasons. The main reasons being militarism, alliances, imperialism, and nationalism. Okay guys, that's all I have in store for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you have any more questions, go ahead and post a comment or email me. Have a good one.